Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, March 4th, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I am ripening in divine timing. And today we have Venus going retrograde. This is the most significant event that is happening this week, and significant astro event, I feel. And it does feel really significant. This is such an interesting retrograde to me. So Venus is going retrograde at 13 degrees Aries, 13 degrees revolution evolution. So ultimately this eclipse is not eclipse, sorry, I'm so used to talking about eclipses. This retrograde is a revolution. And, that's the way I like to think about retrogrades. People can get hung up on retrogrades. There's a lot of, stories about you're going to break up, you're going to make up, you're going to find lost love, you're going to find new love. We don't really know because we are all working our own paths. However, the one thing that is united for us all in this is that it is a pull inward. Now, retrograding planets is interesting. Planets don't actually go retrograde. This is a perspective thing. And I think everything in the world is such a perspective event. So take your perspective in this retrograde, turn it in. Take your perspective about love. Take your perspective about worth. Take your perspective about value. Take your perspective about beauty and creativity and turn it inwards as we move through this process. So basic logistics, starting in Aries, 13 degrees, like I said, it's moving back into Pisces. So it's moving from the first sign back into the last sign. Definitely some rebirth energy moving in and through this retrograde. I love all the rewords when it comes to retrogrades. It's going to be going direct again on April 15th. And it'll move back into Aries at the end of April and then move out of the shadow period, move back to where it was, move back to that 13-degree Aries in May. So we basically have, like 2 months, math, not my strong suit, of really digging in, getting into, March, April to May. I'm like, because I was saying 3 months in my head, but I'm like, no, it's not 3 months. It's like 2 months. March to April, April to May. So basically, a little over 2 months, 2.5 months-ish, about digging into this energy, getting into this rebirth. And what I'm really feeling is that energy of rebirth. Aries is where we want to act. Aries is our I am. Aries is the sign that dives headfirst into the world like I'm ready and I'm just going to do these things that I'm going to do. What's interesting about both Aries and Pisces, which is Venus is going to be transversing, is that neither of them are really thinkers. Pisces also is just like, I'm in the flow, I'm doing things as it comes. So we've got diving in headfirst meets the flow. And I feel like this is what we need to work with. This isn't intellectualizing it. This isn't about knowing what's going on. This is about being true to you. And the trueness of you, the trueness of your I am, the trueness of your worth, the trueness of your soul mission to bring beauty into the world. And what's coming up is like, we've forgotten bliss. We've forgotten beauty. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten our worth. I talk to a lot of people every week, and a thing that's coming up right now a lot for people is, I don't really know my purpose. I feel like I came to save the world. Feel like I came to do really good things for the world, but I can't remember and I don't know how to get there and I'm not really sure what to do. This is why this retrograde is so great. This is why this retrograde is beyond brilliant because you don't have to know. You have to remember bliss. You have to remember how to have fun. We have to remember to forget. Remember to forget that you don't need to know. If you can get out of your head, then you can allow the universe to come through and help you ripen in divine timing. Look at this. We are ripening. The universe is taking us through these measures, through these lessons, through what we need to know. But you don't need to consciously know it. What you need to do is set the intention. Okay, universe, I set the intention to work with you into my divine ripening, into showing up in soul service, in what I came to do. I commit to being reborn and ripening into myself. And then follow your bliss. Then have fun. And that's another problem. People are like, I don't even know how to have fun anymore. Then your focus doesn't need to be, I need to save the world, I need to figure out what my purpose is, I need to do all the things. Nope, set that aside. Your intention, your purpose then is I got to remember what's fun for me. I've got to tap in to that inner part of me that knows how to laugh, that knows how to find joy, and know that from that place, I will expand. I will remember. I will remember who I am. You at the core of you. Here I have it again. The source card, the source of you is pure joy. The source of you is pure love. The source of you is pure light. And we're ripening. It's not reversed. We're ripening. We're expanding into it. But you've got to be here in order to get there. So this retrograde is reminding us to look for beauty. And I hope that you can make an intention like that, to look for beauty on a daily basis and recognize that the beauty that you're seeing outside of you is reflecting the beauty that is on the inside of you. This includes being in nature. This includes hearing a beautiful song. This includes just anything that touches your soul in any little way. And this is how we save the world, by finding the beauty, by finding the love, and remembering it within ourselves, and ripening into divine timing, in our divine timing, and ripening into our divine source self. So, I also want to mention, very interestingly, that I'm like, it doesn't matter about all the info, but it's still fascinating to me. I'm still a Sagittarius. This is part of who I am. This is part of my divine light shining. The last retrograde was actually in September of 2015. So that retrograde happened between Virgo and Leo. So very interestingly, because Virgo's opposite, Pisces. And it's also interesting because these eclipses have been playing with these energies, It's taking us back into the unification, back into the soul and the source of us. Now, for me personally, I had just gone through a breakup prior to Venus going retrograde. And then from that, it took a lot of time getting to know myself, and then got shot-putted into my twin flame journey. So, source. Ripening. The universe has a plan. If things are ending for you, celebrate this. I mean, feel what you need to feel, but celebrate it because it's taking you into your ripeness. And if things have not yet begun, celebrate it because it's taking you into your ripening. And if things are just beginning, celebrate it because it's taking you into your ripening. Wherever you are, find the joy in that moment, and you will be fueling your fruity self with the nutrients of the universe. So, do I want to do these cards yet or no? I'm going to wait. I've got interesting cards. So, besides that Venus retrograde stuff, we have the moon in Gemini. The moon in Gemini wants to have fun. The moon in Gemini wants to laugh. So, if you can, again, remember that intention. And it can be just like Abraham, Esther said, when she was trying to get really into the Abraham vibration. One day she would just write in her journal, I just want to have fun, 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 fun. You can write down fun, fun, fun. I just want to have fun. And call it in that way. And then let it unfold for you. If you don't know what's fun, but if you do know what's fun, embrace it through this moon. Don't get stuck overthinking it. The brain loves to talk and dissect and analyze everything, but it also just really wants to laugh too. And the brain benefits from the laughter too. All the hormones that get spit out, your brain supports you laughing. We have Mercury conjunct Neptune, which I think is really beautiful. To me, this is part of you knowing yourself. This is part of this retrograde energy because so much of you is this non-physical energy. We get so caught up in like, this is my body and this is what I do for a living and this is my identity and all those things. And this is like, hey, there's more. Hey, have you seen your light yet? I love this connection. It's 11 degrees. Again, that's that degree of reflection. It's the degree of mastery. So if you don't remember who you are, again, maybe you need to see some reflection of some of the beauty of who you are. So let the universe show you that reflection. The final aspect of the day is the moon squaring Neptune. That's where that analyzation may come in. Well, I can't be that thing because this thing is this and this thing's that, and so that's not a reflection of me. That's separation, and that's not really true. So don't really worry about that. Don't get caught up in that. If you get caught up in that, laugh at it. Be like, wow, I love how my brain likes to fall into these old patterns. How ingenious of it to be so proficient at analyzing these things. And then let that move on and just let yourself see yourself reflected in the beauty and in the kindness and in the goodness and in the miraculous of this world. So you can ripen. So I'm going to start with these cards. Okay, so I have 3 9 cards. I have ripening And then I have sorrow and exhaustion, both 9, or all 3 9s. 9, number of, in astrology, 9 represents Mars, so it is that fiery passion energy, but 9 traditionally in tarot represents endings. So, endings and beginnings. Aries and Pisces, this so connects. Now these are reverse, exhaustion and sorrow. And so my hope is this is an ending of exhaustion and sorrow and bringing in the new beginning of you understanding your ripening process. However, if this is coming up for you, do not register this as a bad thing. This is part of the ending, releasing this sorrow, releasing the exhaustion. Also, I'm getting the sense, too, the exhaustion. It's not necessarily a negative thing. I tell this to people all the time. A lot of times when we're going through processes, our body gets tired because it needs to shut down because that's the only way we can get out of the head and allow these things to happen. So if you're feeling the exhaustion, if you're feeling the sorrow, don't be afraid to go inward so you can go and do your ripening process. Again, just like how fruit doesn't sit there and be like, and now I'm going to ripen into a big, bright, red, shiny thing that's going to taste delicious. The fruit doesn't need to like micromanage the universe. You don't need to micromanage the universe into your ripening. Let go, and if you need to sleep and if you need to cry, allow it. Love yourself enough to allow it at this time so you can flow into your source. I know this is long. I keep getting longer. I don't know why. So good. So good. I'm reading this whole thing because it's so perfect, and I feel like this is the Pied Piper leading us into our dreams, leading us into our best selves. The Guide of Wands, which is basically the Queen of Wands, sharing our fire, sharing our light, sharing our passion. Okay, so I'm reading the whole thing. When the town of Hamlin was infested with rats, a mysterious visitor known as the Pied Piper came. He said he will pipe the rats into the river for a fee, and the delighted town leaders agree. But after he completes the deed, the townspeople do not abide by their part of the contract. The Pied Piper is angry and decides to pipe an enchanting tune to mesmerize all of Hamlin's children to follow him to a peaceful and serene mountain. So there's the kids. Listen to that. However, one lame boy attempting to keep up with the others is shut out when the door to the mountain retreat closes before he can enter. The message in this card is that you never know when the muse will suddenly arrive and depart. The muse is the spark of creative fire within the higher imagination. It can be subtle, fleeting, and tricky to understand. The lame boy represents the part of humanity touched by the muse and aware of its reality, but still unable to find a way to manifest its power in the world. In this young lame youth, I don't like calling him a lame youth, I don't like it, but we witness our need to discover the inner muse once we've been touched by its magic spell. He signifies our unique expression of divine wisdom, for he is unlike the other children. He is different, and we honor the distinctive quality when we honor the muse within. The rats suggest the negative thoughts within the town's consciousness that require purification, cleansing in the river. The town won't pay the piper because the leaders are stuck in the realm of material values. They refuse to value the muse, the power of creative artistry. For their blindness and ignorance, they lose their future genius in the form of their children. Eventually, the townspeople understand their failures. They name the main thoroughfare Pied Piper Street and build a stained glass window in his honor. Later, a band of gypsies arrive in town, and many of the older residents think it's the lost children. The children have become inspired on their long journey. They have found their muse, symbolized by the Pied Piper, and have returned home to inspire their parents. When the Pied Piper appears in your reading, it is time to follow your inner guide, your ingenious and inventive brand of thinking. Do not follow outer leader piping a hypnotic tune. Rather, listen to the gentle refrains of your own inner music. Be playful. Dance, sing, let your artistic gifts blossom. Pay homage to the creative spirit that leads you forward on this path of life. So, how good is that? And just to finish up, I also pulled 2 cards came out. The 5 of Wands, more of this fire energy. And this is about the feminine. Oh, and it's so funny because this represents May Day, which is when we're going to come back into the fire, back into Venus and Aries, and back past the retrograde, out of the shadow. Anyways, the 5-pointed flower is called the sacred womb, where all perfection and beauty may arise. Let's see. And here we have Flora. a flower fairy, honoring the blossoming time. She calls upon you to expand and unfurl the divinity sleeping within your heart. You're feminine, the creative. Venus, the yin, is flourishing. This is an opportunity to paint, color a mandala. Visualize it as the opening of your soul. Realize that at this time, your life is not a struggle, but a dance or unfolding of your creative and intuitive gifts. Change is on the horizon. Focus on the constructive freedom. So, and it says, consider the significance of this beautiful saying. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. So, here we have this. That all echoes my astro message. I wrote the astro message and then pulled these cards and I was like blown away. First I was like, Pied Piper, really? And then I read it because I was like, I don't know how this fits in. And then I was like, whoa. Wow, that fits. So, this is a divine portal. Use this to your benefit. All astrology is always helping for your benefit. All the things in the universe are always working for your benefit. It's up to us to work with it instead of continually resisting it. And as we resist the universe, we are resisting the inner genius of ourselves. We're resisting that source energy that just wants to light you on divine inspired fire. So, just that. Happy Venus retrograde. I'm excited. I'm pumped for this. Book a reading if you want to dive in deeper into your chart. And I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.